Hey guys, welcome back to Animal Facts Cafe. I'm Kyla, and I was not expecting to record today, but I had like a crash out this morning where my insurance charged me a lot of money that I don't have, and I was about to dig myself into a hole. So I was like, let me talk about animals. That seems to be something to distract me. And I do have Duncan in the background. Again, I was sad. Okay, I have to have some happiness in my life. I also started my period, so it's just not really a great time. So we're going to be talking about cephalopods today because they're weird and funny and something kind of newish because I talk about dogs and mammals a lot. So we're going to be talking about a cephalopod. So thank you to the Monterey Bay Aquarium for this definition because I'm bad at explaining. So a cephalopod is an animal containing, it's like a group of animals containing octopus, squid, cuttlefish, the literal definition of the word cephalopod, which is a Greek term, means head foot, which I think is fucking hilarious. It makes me think of that disease, that hand foot mouth disease. Did any of you guys have that when you were younger? That shit sucked. So it basically describes animals that have eyes just above their limbs, they don't have any bones, and they are marine, obviously. So we're going to be talking about two different types of cephalopods. My camera is covering my screen, so I can't see what I'm clicking on. So we're going to be talking about the two different types of cephalopods today. One being the cuttlefish, which I mentioned. So a cuttlefish is a weird fucking animal, and there are 120 different species of said cuttlefish. So to save my brain and your brain, I'm not going to talk about every fucking... That would take forever. I could have just a podcast about cuttlefish. So something interesting actually I learned in one of my classes. So one of my classes, I did a internship at the aquarium, and one of my classmates actually works at the aquarium, and she knows a lot about marine stuff, and she was talking about how cuttlefish can change like half of their body colors. Like they can change colors, but like individually. So like this half of their body could be blue and this half could be black or whatever. So I thought that was really cool. They also can change their sexes, so they can evolve. They've evolved mating strategies where males can switch to look like a female and stuff like that. But it says, this is from one of the websites. There's a bug. One of the websites said, giant cuttlefish abilities allowed them to evolve alternate mating strategies where males can switch between the appearance of female and that of a male in order to foil the guarding attempts of larger males. So that's kind of cool. So cuttlefish have 8 arms, and the 2 long ones attach to their head, which is crazy. Head foot, you know. They have large W-shaped pupils, which is really weird. So they have an area behind their eyes called the mantle, and that contains their internal organs. So their organs are like in their head. Like, it's just weird. I don't know. Oh, and another thing that went wrong. I'm like sitting here. You see me, like, if you're watching, I'm like playing with a part of my tooth with my tongue because it cracked. Because everything just fucking wants to go wrong for me. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about cuttlefish. That area behind their eyes, the mantle, is also covered by a fringe-like fin. So cuttlefish have a weird internal shell called the cuttle bone. That sounds kind of cute. And this is used for control of how much of buoyancy, so they can add different amounts of liquid and gas into this structure, making them float up and down, and they can also jet themselves by propelling. They can propel themselves by filling certain body parts with water, and they can also propel backwards, which is kind of cool. They are carnivores, so they eat little shrimps and crabs and things like that. They use their extendable tentacles to grab prey, and they bite them, which is toxic. So that's scary. They also have a beak, which that kind of grosses me out. And this beak is located at the base of their arms and can break open crab shells. So they are kind of scary. Next one is the vampire squid. But one of the vampire squid's most striking characteristics is its large eyes. Like, their eyes literally look like you're looking into space. It's kind of creepy. I will insert a picture, obviously. It has, proportional to body size, the biggest eyes of any living animal, so that's crazy. And their eyes look like they glow bright blue, but they're not. Their eyes are clear, but they just reflect the water. Kind of like the sky is not actually blue, it reflects the water. The tip of each of their arms has a organ that produces light because they live, where it's dark in the water. They have 2 fine tentacles that can extend up to 8 times the length of its body. I didn't realize that when I read this. 8 times is a lot of time. So that bitch, that's long. And each one of their arms has little hairs on it that help it detect food and things. So, like, if something swims by and the hairs move, they're like, oh, that might be food. Cool. So, when they get scared, they invert their arms, making a little cloak. Maybe that's why they're called a vampire squid. That covers the mantle, which I explained. Internal organs important. And then when they do this, like, cloak motion, they show little spiky parts of them called cirri on the back of the webbed arms, and that is to protect them. And a lot of cephalopods and squids, or cephalopods are squid. You know what I'm trying to say. Cephalopods have muscles that control their pigment, so like I explained with the cuttlefish, they can change like one side of their color or whatever, but vampire squids don't have these muscles, so they don't change color, which is interesting. And this is the only cephalopod that does not eat live prey. So what the fuck do they eat? They eat something called marine snow, and when I first read this, I was like, they're from the Arctic, but again, research. Marine snow. A really big bird just passed the window. My cat didn't even notice. Oh, there it goes. Get it, Banjo. Get it. He's so entertained by that window. You'd think he's watching fucking like Love Island or something. He is like on the prowl, which is good because he's out of my face. He's been driving me insane all morning, biting me and meowing at me, and I'm like, go do something. So yeah, marine snow is not literally marine snow. It is dead organic matter. So particles of dead animals, rotting things, fecal, stuff like that. So to eat, they extend their 2 little leg things, and they have adhesive mucus on it, which is really nasty. And they trap the marine snow, so little particles on this adhesive mucus, and then pull it through its arms, scraping off trapped food particles. And then they have suckers on their arm that secrete mucus that trap the food particles. Ew, why did it say this? Creating a sort of marine snow mucus dumpling. I don't want to eat now. That's fucking nasty. And then they move it to their mouth and eat it. That was a lot that I did. That's kind of nasty. A mucus dumpling sounds fucking disgusting. I could make many mucus dumplings with the amount of snot I have in my nose for my allergies right now. And there's somebody outside cutting grass, which is going to do numbers on me. I have to go take a final, so we're going to keep me in your thoughts and prayers because I've crashed out twice this morning, and my brain said no. So, yes, I did text my therapist because I was like, I'm going to have a fucking mental breakdown. Why are they charging me this money? And I have to go take an exam. So, yeah. I hope you guys learned something about cephalopods. Maybe I'll talk about more in the future because they are very fucking interesting. Vampire squid is definitely on my list of crazy animals. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. And I'm gonna go anyway because they're fucking cutting grass. So, goodbye.